you.
I'm sorry, I had to write this down so I can get all the points. Okay, first, I just want to thank everybody for coming out and supporting us, because all your support and help and donations and outpour of love is a huge blessing to us. So we really thank you. And like Attorney Crump said, we could not get through this by ourselves. This is a big thing, and we're all in this together. So I just want to first start out saying that I'm the oldest, and I actually have been with Andre since day one. And I never in my wildest dreams thought that I would be out here making a speech or talking about him not being here with me, because it's always been Shawna and Andre and Shawna. We grew up in this area, and he's greatly loved, and we had the best childhood here. So I understand why Carissa wanted to have everything here. But today I want to speak about my brother and for his justice, since his life was recklessly snatched away from us on December 22nd, 2020. In my opinion, it's not enough that the officer that killed my brother has a call for termination. And please note and be clear that the call for termination is because he did not have his body cam on. Not because he murdered my brother.
Preach.
Outright murder my brother. An innocent man who would still be here today had that not happened. So we want to let the footage speak for itself. We all saw it. And even the man, and even though there was no audio on that body cam, it was clear that once visual acknowledgement was made, about 10 seconds later, my brother hit the ground. And it was completely uncalled for. And we don't know how many wounds that he has. We don't know how many times he was shot, because there was no audio. So that's something that we are going to look into.
We're going to find out.
So what I do know about my brother, however, is that he was a talker. And anybody out here that knew him knew he was a talker. And anybody that knew him would agree with that statement. And he would talk to anyone. He didn't know a stranger. That's just how he was. He spoke to everyone, welcomed everyone, and loved everyone, treated everyone the same. He supported everyone. Andre was a friendly person, a great brother that supported me in everything that I did. I mean, I could have the wildest anything, any ideas that I had, as crazy as it sounded. He supported me and edged me on all the way. He always had my back, no matter what. He was especially great father to his only daughter, and he lived and breathed for his daughter and his grandkids. He talked about his grandkids constantly. I mean, that was his life. He was a great nephew, cousin, and a friend. And Andre was the type that would give you the shirt off of his back and not ask for anything in return. He was always one who would give a helping hand with no excuses, no questions. You could always count on Andre. And with that being said, there was not a violent bone in his body. He would never hurt anyone. So for them to pull out and kill my brother for no reason is unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
It's unacceptable. So
That's okay. We here for you, baby. We here. Take your time.
he wasn't even given the opportunity, walking up with the camera, with the phone in his hand, he wasn't even given the opportunity to speak or say anything. We don't know if it was what the audio says, but he wasn't given an opportunity to even finish a sentence before the cop shot him dead.
Take your time.
And with that being said, my brother was left on the ground, shot, with no type of medical assistance attempted in the full 13-minute footage of the tape that we saw. That full time he lay there on the ground, no medical help administered at all. But what we did see was the concern for the officer who was walking around coughing and got a chance to drink some water and enjoy his, right. But he was able to relieve himself, but leave my brother on the ground, gasping for air, like an animal. And that is unacceptable while he laid there. We have full-blown laws on animal cruelty today in place where courts fully enforce punishment, fines, and jail time for people who are cruel to animals, while there's nothing, absolutely nothing in place to protect us from that same energy and enforcement. We have to make a change.
Amen.
We have to make a change. Actually, I want to rephrase that and say, we are no longer asking for change, we're demanding change.
Amen.
Come on.
There's black men and women are being killed all the time by police in alarming rates, and nothing's being done about it. So it has to stop here. Had there been help administered to my brother, Carissa's father, he might would have spent his Christmas with us.
Yeah.
But instead, he's laying dead, while the cop who shot him went home to his family with no cares whatsoever.
Take your time.
Come on, Shawna.
Take your time.
My niece and her children endured the absence of Andre, who was a staple of the family, due to violence and an out-of-control behavior for this officer who's being called for termination. And our goal here is that officer is still on administrative leave. We want him to serve the maximum penalty for murder.
Amen.
And not just be terminated so that he can go get a job somewhere else and do the same thing to somebody else.
Fact.
We're demanding that there's laws put in place. We're calling it Andre's Law, that will prohibit and possibly turn away this type of behavior so this doesn't happen to someone else.
Yeah.
Right. So we want to call this Andre's Law. And I've prayed hard and long about this. And I know that justice will end in the win. Win in the end. So I just want to close by saying change is coming. And it's coming today.